Tonight, protesters have gathered in Chicago after that city's Civilian Office of Police Accountability released harrowing body cam footage this afternoon, showing the moment when a Chicago police officer fatally shot a 13-year-old boy last month. Police say they had responded to a call of shots fired in the neighborhood around 2:30 a.m. on March 29th in the Little Village neighborhood of Chicago. They found 13-year-old Adam Toledo in an alley with 21-year-old man, and the pair fled. That's the account police have given. An officer chased after Toledo. We have video of that. And after catching up to him, shot and killed him. The body camera footage is incredibly disturbing. We're not going to show you the shooting itself, nor play the sound of the gunshot. We're going to show you the moments leading up to the shooting. And I got to warn you, it is very upsetting. Body cam video shows a police officer chasing Toledo down the alley and ordering him to stop and drop it. A moment later, shortly after what you're seeing, what appeared to be a single gunshot rang out and Toledo collapsed. Police maintain that Toledo was holding a gun immediately before the officer fired. Video from a nearby security camera appears to show Toledo throwing something behind a fence just a moment before. This is a still, though, from the body cam video, right? A split second before Toledo was shot, with his hands up there. Now, attorney for Toledo's family says it shows the 13-year-old was not holding a gun at the moment when he was shot by the officer. Chicago is mourning this boy, the 13-year-old boy, Adam Toledo, tonight, and his family. And Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot are calling for calm amidst all the anguish. NBC News correspondent Antonia Hylton is in Chicago tonight, and she joins me with the latest. Antonia, I think this story is new to most people outside of Chicago, but it has been a point of intense focus in the city for about a month now. Take us through it.
That's exactly right, Chris. I mean, there's been so many heartbreaking cases and coverage recently that in some ways the story here in Chicago has been drowned out. But Adam Toledo's case here has been on the front of minds here of protesters, but also just regular folks that I've spoken to throughout my time here in the city. This is a 13-year-old boy, a boy who was in 7th grade, killed in the early hours of March 29th. And, you know, as you mentioned, this narrative initially emerged that this was a 13-year-old, a gang-affiliated 13-year-old, that likely then that when we would see the footage, we'd see someone who was menacing an officer, who would have a gun in their hand, who posed an imminent threat. And from what we've seen here, you know, people feel betrayed. I mean, they knew that the video that was going to come out today would be horrific, that it would be traumatizing to watch, as it would be to see any 13-year-old shot and killed in that manner. But you know, what people were been shocked by, as I've spoken to people tonight, is that there were none of these elements that prosecutors and others in the city led them to believe were going to be there. You know, what people here saw was a 13-year-old with his hands up complying with an officer's order. And so in addition to the anger people expected to feel, people here tonight feel an extreme level of betrayal and heartbreak. And the family is calling for calm. People have respected their wishes, but you can expect to see the hurt play out throughout this night.
We should note, Antonia, that the context here, of course, in the city of Chicago, a city that's paid, if I'm recalling this correct, about $700 million in civil settlements for police lawsuits over the last decade. This is a city where, of course, Laquan McDonald, a teenage boy, was shot and killed by police. And at first, the initial account was that he had been a threat or he had lunged towards an officer. And that videotape was kept under wraps, subsequently released. So there's a kind of deep, fundamental, contextual distrust here that even precedes this incident.
That's exactly right. And actually, in the crowd tonight, there are a couple mothers of other young boys who were murdered by Chicago police officers. And they feel like they've formed a club here of people who have been, in some cases, for decades, raising alarms about this. You know, in the case of Adam Toledo's family, they were able to see the video and have it released publicly relatively quickly when we compare it to other past cases in Chicago. But, you know, there's this, one of the mothers talked to me tonight about how there's a pattern here that they feel like, you know, the city mobilizes, officials mobilize, a narrative comes out about people, these kids who in many cases are in their early 20s or teens in this boy's case. And, you know, the narrative is set that that they are, demonized in some way, responsible for their own death, and that these mothers basically have now come together and have to be part of this club, this grieving group that they never wanted to ever be a part of. And, they're, in some cases grateful to have each other, but for the most part, shocked and disturbed that here they are in 2021 after Laquan McDonald, but also many other lesser known cases that have similar patterns to all of those. And they're still, fighting for the same cause.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.